It's week 8 in the NFL, and we are live at New Era Field. The Patriots and the Bills. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. The kickoff is next. 51 degrees here in Orchard Park. It is raining right before kick as we send it downstairs to Evan Washburn. Evan?
Yeah, and damp and a little chilly down here, and the Buffalo Bills come in short-handed offensively. LaShawn McCoy's the headliner, but Tyrod Taylor's now lost his last reliable deep threat in Marquise Goodwin, who suffered a concussion last week. He will not play. He does get Robert Woods back, but we're told he's not close to 100%. So thin on the outside for this Bills offense as they try and keep pace with Brady and the Patriots.
All right, Evan, thanks very much. Try to get Evan a deal on an umbrella, maybe.
Well, you know, his lettuce is looking more like kale these days.
A little bit. It's wet here in western New York. The Patriots won the toss, and they will receive the second half kickoff. That actually ends a streak. Buffalo had won 10 straight tosses going back to December of last season. Stephen Gostkowski will kick it off. Brandon Tate, former Patriot, the deep man. And we're underway. New England looking to even the season series with Buffalo. Tate will take a knee. Buffalo will have it at the 25-yard line to open up. Tyrod Taylor limiting the mistakes, but they're going to need him to make big plays here today against this New England defense.
Yeah, he hoped to replicate what he did in the first game, throwing a lot of short passes underneath the secondary of the Patriots and also moving the pocket. But look for him to run the option down in the red zone. Scored a touchdown last week on the option against Miami.
Hasn't thrown an interception since week 3 against Carolina. That's 127 consecutive passes. Gillislee with 3 receivers to open up. Taylor to toss it to Clay, and he's out of bounds. Charles Clay matched up with Dante Hightower, 2-yard gain. Starting offense for the Buffalo Bills. Cordy Glenn was a question mark with an ankle injury, but he's in there anchoring that left side for Buffalo. Evan talked about the injuries. Robert Woods is not 100%. He was inactive last week in the loss to Miami after suffering a foot injury against San Francisco. We'll see some different formations here for Buffalo, getting creative.
Here we go.
Gillislee's got a lane. Gillislee's got speed. Gillislee taking it to the outside. Blocks from Wood and Clay. Gillislee with a 28-yard rip.
Yeah, Clay was like a pulling guard that time. Watch it, number 85 here, as he gets around the corner and takes a shot at Hightower. And then the speed of Gillislee, breaking tackles and getting down for 28 big ones.
And the Bills going no huddle in New England territory at the 45-yard line. Gillislee in for the injured McCoy. Right up the middle. Oh, he got clobbered. 3-yard pickup. And Gillislee is going to head to the sideline as Dante Hightower was among those Patriots there up the gut.
Well, let's watch Hightower. He's going to fight off the block of Incognito here. Just push him aside and then square up on Gillislee. Down he goes.
He took a serious pop. And Reggie Bush is in now for Buffalo. He has lined up in the slot position as a receiver as well. Taylor pump fake was a great deep ball. This one is high and incomplete. Justin Hunter is a tall target, 6'4", and Eric Rowe back there in coverage for New England.
Yeah, it's hard to overthrow a guy that's 6'4", but the ball goes right through the hands. You can see how shiny that ball is with the rain. Obviously, it's wet, and that contributed to that incompletion.
Now the rain has picked up. Deron Harmon is in as the nickel for New England. Robert Woods fake it. It's a running play for Brandon Tate. Tate zigzags to the outside. Out of bounds, hit by Logan Ryan. The Bills picking up chunks of yards. Gillislee a big play. And then Tate, the former Patriot, for 14.
Well, and Tate's got those open field moves as a punt and kick returner. Really good job again by Clay to keep Hightower from making the tackle. And then the shot there by Ryan knocks him out of bounds. Good drive for Buffalo to start this game.
Bill Belichick made Tate a third-round pick back in 2009 out of North Carolina. Looking out of the gun. Taylor, fake it. Taylor steps over the pocket. Taylor gets out of trouble. Floater, wide open. Hits Felton, the fullback. And hit from behind at the 6.
Now this is what makes Tyrod Taylor so dangerous, his ability to extend plays. He wanted to go deep to Powell down the left sideline. The pocket collapses, but he finds Felton here right over the defense. Just a second catch of the season for Felton. Good for 22 and in the red zone.
Alan Branch had put the heat on Taylor, who escaped. And a 1st and goal for Buffalo. Bills trying to strike first. Taylor gets away. Taylor circles and just tosses it away as he was headed towards the sideline. Taylor took a hit. Branch and Hightower giving chase to Taylor. No flag.
Hightower takes him to the ground about 6 yards out of bounds. There the ball is released, and now make that 10 yards out of bounds. Hightower gets away with roughing the passer.
And the ball got back to the line of scrimmage.
How do you miss that? That's the official's main job, John Perry, is to stay with the quarterback regardless of where he is on the field and look out for unnecessary roughness.
And a timeout called by Tyrod Taylor. Taylor may have been shaken up on the play as well.
Oh, it was a big hit here. Wisely throws it away to save yardage. That's incredible that Hightower does not get a flag.
Well,
Taylor thought so, didn't he?
He did. It took a while to get back to the huddle, and that's why Buffalo had to call the timeout.
It looks like he's also favoring his left shoulder.
bit.
That's where Hightower, he goes 260, 265, landed right on top of him.
Check in with Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, guys, it wasn't just the impact of Hightower. He got pulled off to the side where the turf then becomes this hard ground, and that's what really caused some pain for Taylor. I was standing right over him. You could see it in his eyes. He was clearly fighting through.
Well, and that's an indicator as well. Normally, you don't get hit over there.
Yeah, you're hit so far there's not even artificial surface.
2nd and goal, 8th play of the drive. Reggie Bush is in with Jonathan Williams and Jerome Felton. So a full house in the backfield. 2nd and goal, fake it. And Taylor has nowhere to go. Chris Long helped hem him in. And a half a yard, if that, on the gain. It sets up 3rd and goal for Buffalo.
Yeah, it looked like Reggie Bush went the wrong way. This looked like it was going to be an option play. And Bush went to the right side. Taylor faking the ball to the left side. And he was stranded.
Gillislee has not been back on the field since that shot he took from Hightower. 3rd and goal for Buffalo. 9th play of the drive. Operating out of the gun. Taylor has time. Taylor, pump. Taylor throws, glances off the receiver, Reggie Bush. Incomplete. And the field goal unit will come out for Buffalo.
Now this was thrown a little bit high and hard, but it still should have been caught because this is a touchdown pass that Bush can't pull in. 2 high passes, both resulting in incompletions for Tyrod Taylor.
And a chip shot now for Dan Carpenter, 23-yarder. He's 9 of 11 on field goals this season. Impressive opening drive for Buffalo. Trying to put 3 on the board. Carpenter knocks it through. The Bills take the lead on the first possession of the day. Tom Brady in the New England offense when we come back. 10 plays, 70 yards for the Buffalo Bills. The short field goal from Dan Carpenter highlighted by a 28-yard run by Mike Gillislee. Tyrod Taylor had a couple of cracks at the end zone. Couldn't get it done, and Buffalo settles for 3. Carpenter will kick it off. Danny Amendola is the deep man. Matthew Slater back there as well for New England. The Bills 6-1 in their last 7 home games going back to last season. This one will drop at the 10 for Slater. Slater gets banged as he crossed the 25, and the ball popped loose. Ball is free on the sideline, and a battle for it as the Patriots come away with it. Blanton thought he had a shot at it. Walter Powell was over there, and eventually it is Shea McClellan who comes up with a loose football.
Now Walter Powell got the first hit on Slater. You can see all the Bills had a real good shot at this one. Heads up by McClellan.
Tom Brady. 140 straight passes without an interception. In fact, the New England quarterbacks have not thrown a pick this season. The return of Marcel Darius as well for the Buffalo Bills. A big name that they had been missing through the first 7 games of the season. And it's loud early in Orchard Park. Double tight end set. Bennett, the motion man, shotgun for Brady. Brady out of the pocket, and they'll toss it away. Dealing with pressure. Brady didn't have anybody open downfield. Duzable and Alexander putting the heat on Brady.
Yeah, Brady knows what to expect from Rex Ryan and the Bills defense today. It's the unexpected. We see a lot of different looks. In fact, he described the Bills' defensive game plan in the past as spinning of the dial. Most concerned about the pressure the front four can put on them, as they did that time. 21 sacks for the Bills, leads the league.
He said there are some games where they go against Rex Ryan, they'll blitz 90% of the time. Then the next game, they'll blitz 10% of the time. It's tough to pick up trends.
Defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Too many men on the field for Buffalo's defense. Well, it's supposed to be 2nd and 10. Rex Ryan shaking his head. Rob Ryan, who used to coach for the New England Patriots 4 years on Bill Belichick's staff. Tom Brady said he loved Rob, has a lot of respect for him, and then said also have a lot of respect for Rex and the caliber of coaches that they are. 2nd and 5. Motion man is Edelman, had the big day last week in the 27-16 win in Pittsburgh. Brady pulls the trigger, and he hooks up with Edelman. It's a first down. Out of bounds out near the 45 against Robert Blanton. 9-yard pickup. Starting offense for the Patriots, protecting Brady. That's been a little bit of a concern last 2 weeks. Not a lot of sacks, but pressure. Chris Hogan is back in Orchard Park. Spent the first 3 years of his career as a member of the Buffalo Bills before signing the 3-year, $12 million deal with New England. They'll stick with 2 tight ends. Running play. That play was imploded by Marcel Darius. One of the best at what he does, a 2-time Pro Bowler. Powerful nose tackle for Buffalo, a loss of 1.
Well, here's David Andrews, and here's Marcel Darius. And you can just see the strength here as he just pulls him to the side, gets into the backfield, and drops LeGarrette Blount for a 1-yard loss.
Blount coming off a 127-yard, 2-touchdown performance against his former team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2nd and 11 now for New England. Blount remains in there, play fake. Brady pulls the trigger to the outside, and it's Bennett. And a modest gain out across the 45, covered by Zach Brown. 4-yard pickup. Defensively for the Buffalo Bills, well, you just saw what Darius brings to the field for Buffalo. Linebacker Zach Brown had 17 tackles in the first meeting between these two teams 4 weeks ago. And in the secondary, Robert Blanton is in for the injured Aaron Williams, dealing with a serious neck injury, and this could be a long-term issue for Williams as well. Speculation about his career. Brady floats it upstairs, caught by White, breaks a tackle, and White walks the tightrope for a first down. High praise from Tom Brady in describing what James White brings to this team. He said he loves White's role in this offense.
Well, here's a linebacker. That is Zach Brown. He's responsible for White hidden behind the goalpost there. And just how quick the ball comes out. A little stiff arm there. Good for 8 yards and another first down.
So the Patriots move the chains. They are in Buffalo territory at the 45. New England trails Buffalo 3-0. Brady steps up. Brady tosses down the sideline. One-handed grab by Gronkowski, but he was out of bounds. Stephon Gilmore drawing the coverage for Buffalo.
That's a pretty good matchup for New England, but every time Gronkowski is singled, it's a good matchup. Little out and up move. Gilmore does not go for it. Good one-handed catch. Brady will get hit for the first time today and hit the turf. But the ball thrown, because of the pressure, a little bit too far to the outside. Gronk couldn't get his feet down.
It's been pass dominant on this drive. Flip it to Edelman. Edelman with a little high step stutter. And Zach Brown was there. No gain. A lot of running for Edelman, but no production.
Well, this is a dangerous exchange here. You can see the hand of the Buffalo Bill there coming in. That looked like Shaq Lawson almost got to that pitch to Edelman. But good team defense there kept Edelman to no gain.
So a 3rd and 10 now for New England. Dime package for Buffalo. The crowd is deafening. From the gun. Brady swings it. On time to Chris Hogan. Hogan was shut out in the first meeting against his former team. This one covers 16 yards and another New England first down.
Now, he told us yesterday it's important to get a good release against this press coverage of Stephon Gilmore. Obviously, the former teammates worked against each other many times in practice. And this one, Brady was under pressure, but the separation that Hogan got from Gilmore gets him 16 yards.
Patriots are on the move. 9th play of the drive. Opening possession for New England after Buffalo put 3 points on the board. Shotgun. It's a handoff to Blunt. Dives forward for a pickup of 1 for LeGarrette Blunt. Buffalo got embarrassed last week by Jay Ajayi to the tune of 214 yards and a touchdown. They gave up 256 rushing yards to Miami. That's the most rushing yards ever allowed by a Rex Ryan coach team.
Well, they just couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. And because of that, they had a lot of plays run by that Miami offense. And in the heat of Miami, and Ajayi just wore him down.
7 and 9. Blunt keeps on going. Plowed through the initial contact and turns it into a 7-yard pickup. Brought down there by Preston Brown for Buffalo. Well, Buffalo's defense, first 6 games, allowing 17 points per game, allowing just 103 rushing yards per game. All those numbers went out the window. Did not have a takeaway against Miami last week in the 28-25 loss. That snapped the 4-game losing streak.
And they have a +8 turnover ratio. So that's the ingredient they need today against this Patriot offense.
11th play of the drive. Brady setting up his receiver, Edelman. Gronkowski comes in motion. On a 3rd and 2. Brady fires. It's complete. Edelman underneath. Just finds a soft spot. Turns it into 10 yards and a first down for the Pats.
Well, he told us yesterday that he has options on every pass route. He's so smart. He read the zone. He could see that Brown went out to the outside. So that meant that there was somebody to the inside. So you just stop there. You don't continue your route to either way. New England perfect on 3rd downs now, 3 for 3.
Quick snap, handoff, Blunt, legs churning. Blunt is finally chopped down after the gain of 4 by Washington and Blanton for Buffalo.
Now this is where Blunt becomes so important to this offense as Brady goes right to the line of scrimmage trying to wear this Buffalo defense down.
Brady tossed to Gronkowski, and the Bills ready for it. Game tackle on Gronkowski. He looked like a mere mortal. That doesn't happen often. Loss of 3.
Well, number one, he had to catch the ball. When he caught it, he was tackled by Ronald Darby. Edelman misses the block there. And here's that mere mortal getting stamped by 4 Buffalo Bills.
14th play of the drive. It's a 3rd and 9 for New England. Shotgun for Brady. 5 receivers set. Brady steps up. Brady pulls the trigger. End zone. Touchdown. He hooks up with Danny Amendola. And the Patriots go in front. with an impressive opening drive in Orchard Park.
Well, Brady can extend the play too. It's just not Tyrod Taylor or Ben Roethlisberger. By stepping up in the pocket here, he allows Amendola to get to the pylon here and make the catch for the touchdown. Jonathan Meeks not staying with Amendola. Easy pitch and catch for the score.
And there's some intrigue now, Dan, because of the struggles of Stephen Gostkowski. They have not had to worry about the kicking position for as long back as you can remember between Vinatieri and Gostkowski. Last 10 years, Gostkowski has been fantastic. But he's missed a pair of extra points this year. That one is right down the middle for the Pats. 14 plays, 70 yards. Tom Brady to Danny Amendola. The New England Patriots on an offensive roll since Brady's been back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Casa Modelo. Quality beer since 1925.
Well, happy Halloween, partner, for the New England Patriots. Early statement, 14 plays, 70 yards. Amendola, the 9-yard touchdown reception. Brady was perfect on the drive on third down. 4 of 4 and that touchdown to boot. Gostkowski kicking it off. Return man is Reggie Bush. He gets stamped short of the 15-yard line with a flag down. Matthew Slater, the special teams captain. Penalty marker at the 14.
During the return, holding, return team number 56. After distance to the goal, 1st and 10, timeout on the field.
Laurenti McCray called for the hold, so back it up for Buffalo. Now in a 7-3 hole. First quarter action continues on CBS. Be the first to know your team's news with the CBS Sports app. Get instant updates, expert analysis, highlights, and more. Download the CBS Sports app today. Mike Gillislee is back in there for the Buffalo Bills after taking a hard shot on the first possession of the day for Buffalo. If there were any questions as to whether or not New England would get shut out by the Bills this season, that's been answered. The Patriots have points against Buffalo after getting shut out in the first meeting. 4-yard gain for Gillislee. Let's check in with Evan.
Well, Ian, he did take that big hit, and we didn't see him for the remainder of that drive. He didn't receive any extra attention from the medical staff. One thing I can tell you, though, guys, number of ball carriers are switching out gloves because of this rain. It continues to come down at a heavy pace.
All right, Evan, forecast called for rain. Looked like most of it would come early, around 11 a.m. Eastern, but it's gotten harder as the day has gone by. That goes off the hands of Charles Clay, and it's incomplete. Tyrod Taylor hooking a pass to the tight end, and now facing a 3rd and 6 for Buffalo.
Well, Taylor's been picking out the right receiver, but his ball placement has been off. 2 high ones, that one a little bit too low for Clay, also thrown very hard in this type of weather. Feather that ball in to your big guys.
Shotgun for Taylor and the Bills on a 3rd and 6. Taylor floats it upstairs. Dropped! Brandon Tate. That one was well placed.
Yeah, but the placement of his hands was wrong. Watch it. This is a perfect throw. But watch his hands. Little out and up move. You want to have your little fingers together on a catch like that, not your thumbs together.
Colton Schmidt will punt it. Julian Edelman is waiting at the 40. Yeah, it's wet here in Orchard Park. If you haven't gotten the message. Schmidt's punt angles towards the sideline, and this is going to be excellent field position for the New England Patriots without Edelman having to even touch the ball. Look at this. Just short of the 45 of Buffalo after a 33-yard kick. 7-3 Pats.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nissan. Innovation that excites. and by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Patriots open up at the 45-yard line of Buffalo. 3:41 remaining in this first quarter, and a 7-3 lead for New England. James White in the backfield. Fake it to him. Fake it to Edelman. Brady sets it up. Toss to White. White weaving through traffic, and he's dumped inside the 20 with a penalty marker down.
David Andrews on the center was about 10 yards down the field. This one's coming
Pass
back.
interference. Offense. Number 80. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Going to get Amendola as well.
So it's pass interference on Danny Amendola on this long catch and run by White.
And in front of Tom Brady, obviously, is David Andrews. And he's going to get out in front here, but along with Shaq Mason, they're about 10 yards down the field. Amendola gets the call on the pass interference. He doesn't believe it.
That negates a big play from White, and the line of scrimmage is now the 45 of New England. Just over 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Edelman the motion man, Brady out of the gun. Brady, low throw. There was not a Patriot in the area, and a flag is down at the 40-yard line.
Be holding against the Bills in the secondary.
Well, Rex Ryan just reacted.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 26. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And it's Robert Blanton, the former Minnesota Vikings, signed as a free agent during the offseason, that gets called on the hold.
That's 3 penalties now, and each one seems to have given life to the Patriots. Remember, you go back to the first one when they had 12 men on the field. Instead of a 2nd down and 10 coming up, it was 2nd and 5, and that got the Patriots started on that touchdown drive.
First down at midfield for New England. Brady has already thrown it 9 times. Running play to Blunt, runs into a crowd and hit from the side. 2-yard gain. Lorenzo Alexander with the contact. Tonight, there's a very special guest star on Madam Secretary. JB, James Brown, in his most challenging role ever. He plays himself. Don't miss it. Madam Secretary tonight at 9, 8 Central, only CBS.
Yeah, where's he going to put the Emmy?
I think I saw you in a TJ Hooker way back when, no?
Excuse me?
Is that true or
No,
not?
that was a $6 million man.
No, I don't believe so. Shotgun. Brady. Pass is broken up. He was looking for White. Marcus Cannon was over there, and that's who Brady hit with the ball. Let's head to New York. NFL Today update. JB, Bart Scott.
All right, it's over in London.
With a score fitting of a soccer crowd, Kirk Cousins is going to scramble here with one last chance to try and win it, and foul ball. For the second week in a row, an NFL game ends in a tie. Cincinnati-Washington, 27-all.
I've heard I don't even play myself well. Thank you so much, buddy.
Looking forward to it. DVRing that when I get home tonight. Here's Brady on 3rd and 8. Step it up. Brady tosses. Deep ball. Separation. It's caught by Edelman. Edelman hit from behind. And a flag down at the 42. Edelman did not get to the end zone. Buffalo pointing in New England's direction, and the officials will huddle up.
They had an illegal man downfield. This time they get caught. Tremendous job by Brady to find Edelman across the field.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense number 61. 5-yard penalty replay. 3rd down.
Now Brady's been having to move around quite a bit today. The blitz that time by Gilmore, and then the big shot by Zach Brown. Brady knows he has a big one down the field. And that's not a good sign for the Patriots, with Brady having to move around a lot in the pocket and then absorbing a big hit from the linebacker.
Now it's a 3rd and 13 for the Patriots. From the gun, Brady, rainbow, over the shoulder grab, Chris Hogan, touchdown! Tom Brady delivers a strike to the former Bill, 53 yards. Separates from Gilmore for the score.
Yeah, it was an all-out blitz by the Bills, and that leaves Gilmore man for man on Hogan. Another good release by Hogan off the bump and run. 3 yards behind Gilmore. Gilmore looking around for help. It's not there. Another beautiful pass by Tom Brady. And how happy is Chris Hogan?
That was on a third down play, 53 yards. It leaves Rex Ryan shaking his head. How many times has he seen Tom Brady burn his defenses through the years? Extra point. Gostkowski, it curled through with the post. Tom Brady. You can't do it much better than that. Chris Hogan back in Orchard Park with a bang.
You are watching the NFL on CBS.
Tom Brady is 8 of 11, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 to Amendola, 1 to Hogan, and New England has taken a 14-3 lead over Buffalo.
Well, he's 5 for 5 on third downs. He's hit White, Hogan, Edelman, Amendola, 6 different receivers in those 8 completions for Brady.
Gostkowski will place it inside the 5, forcing Reggie Bush to run with it, and he's spun down short of the 20-yard line by Barkevius Mingo on special teams. Week 8 continues later today on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN. So Buffalo got off to a good start, a long drive, similar to what they did in the first meeting between these two teams, keeping the New England offense off the field. But this time it's not Jacoby Brissett leading the Pats offense, it's Tom Brady, and he's led them to 2 touchdowns. Taylor is just 2 of 7 throwing the football. He has been victimized by 3 drops. The run by Gillislee, and he's slammed down after the gain of 4. Vincent Valentine, the rookie out of Nebraska, makes the stop for New England.
But that was a decisive cut by Gillislee. Those downhill type of runners that will put their foot in the ground, plant hard, and get up the field. Picked up 4.
We hit 1 minute to play in this first quarter. The rain has basically stopped. It's some wacky weather here in Erie County. Hand off to Reggie Bush, stacked up. Alan Branch among those there defensively. Patrick Chung was scraping at the ball. And the officials make sure nothing escalates after that. Forward progress, a gain of 2. So it's 3rd and 4 now for Buffalo. 30 seconds to play in the first. Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator. We asked Patrick Chung about him. He said he's really smart. I think he could be a rocket scientist. But he also said he's fiery, and that spills over into the players' demeanor as well. Taylor on 3rd and 4, flips it. It's going to be short. Gillislee did not get to the marker. Patrick Chung helped make sure of it. It's a 3-yard pickup as we put the first quarter in the books at New Era Field. The New England Patriots 14, the Buffalo Bills 3. We're back with more after this. The NFL on CBS. In the first quarter, Patriots 120 yards of offense. They converted every third down opportunity, 5 out of 5. The Bills' average drive start back at their own 17-yard line. And now Buffalo is punting. High snap. Schmidt handles it. Edelman settles under it at the 30. Edelman to the sideline and out of bounds. 9-yard return, a 42-yard punt for Schmidt.
Now they say variety's the spice of life. It also is the spice of the Pats offense on third down today. James White out of the backfield. Then it's Chris Hogan. Amendola against the zone, then the 9-yard touchdown pass to Amendola, and then the bomb to Chris Hogan, 53 yards. The Bills came in as one of the better third down defenses in the NFL, giving up just 33% on third downs. Not so today.
Buffalo is 4-3, and they will be at Seattle next week for Monday Night Football. Patriots will have a bye, and they've got the best record in the NFL currently at 6-1. Brady, plenty of time. Brady sets and throws, incomplete. It was a low throw in the direction of James White.
He's had time in the pocket, but he's also been able to extend plays, and that's really been the key. Bills doing a good job with their four-man rush, not getting home though. Remember, 21 sacks coming into today, none last week and none so far today for Dennis Thurman's defense.
Now in his second year running the defense, was with Rex Ryan with the Jets. Their relationship goes back to the Baltimore Raven days as well. 2nd and 10 now for the Patriots. Brady steps up. Brady avoids the rush, fires a deep ball, and it's too far for Gronkowski. Incomplete.
Marcel Darius had a great pass rush that time as he looped all the way from the left tackle spot right up the middle. And that's the pressure you want to get on Brady, is trying to get to the middle, get in his face. Watch Darius, 99 here, split the blocks of Mason and Andrews and force that long incompletion.
Checking on Lorenzo Alexander, having the best season of his career. 9 sacks this season to lead the NFL. He had 9 sacks combined in his first 9 years. Brady has devoured Kyle Williams. They've had a number of battles through the years. Brady had some nice words to say about Williams and the respect that he has for him as a player. And Williams just returned the favor as he dumps Brady.
Yeah, it was a good twist move with Shaq Lawson. That freed up Kyle Williams to pick up his 2.5 sack of the season.
Brandon Tate is deep. The punt from Allen, returnable. Tate slowed down. Nate Ebner got him by the shoelaces. 41-yard punt and a 2-yard return. Tom Brady absorbing that hit from Kyle Williams. Buffalo's defense with a good stand. Back in Orchard Park, let's go downstairs to Evan Washburn.
Well, I had a lot of discussion about Lorenzo Alexander's workload. He actually came up lame on the punt. He's on special teams, on punt coverage. It's the right leg up near that hamstring injury. Nothing official. I'll keep you posted.
All right, Evan. Play fake. Taylor, too high again. Skies it over the head of Walter Powell. Matched up with Malcolm Butler in the secondary.
Tyrod Taylor struggling with his accuracy here in the first half. He has the wind at his back this series, but that ball way overthrown to Powell. Powell goes about 6 feet. He didn't even attempt to jump at that one. It's so high. Just 3 of 9 in the first half for Taylor.
Field goal to open things up for Buffalo, and then punt on consecutive 3 and outs for the Bills. It's 2nd and 10. Gillislee. Hard cut by Gillislee, and nearly got the first down. Nice blocks from Clay and Felton. NFL Today update. James Brown and Bart Scott.
Longest run of the year by a Jet.
On 3rd and 10, Bilal Powell's going to take the draw. Brandon Marshall with 2 blocks all the way in for the 35-yard score. Jets respond. Cleveland up 10-7.
Ryan, Dan, and Evan.
Good things seem to happen when Bilal Powell touches the football for the Jets. 14-3 New England over Buffalo. 3rd and 2 for the Bills. Taylor, he put that one where it had to be, and it's hauled in by Justin Hunter. He was released by Tennessee, signed with Miami, waived by Miami, picked up by the Bills. A necessity at wide receiver because of all the injuries.
A good throw by Taylor away from the defender. Good adjustment to the ball, securing the catch before he gets to the sideline. Huge first down conversion to keep this drive alive.
Motion man is Clay for Buffalo. On a give for Gillislee, and he is stacked up. Nowhere to go against Jabal Sheard and others. 1 yard pickup for Gillislee. Reggie Bush will come in and replace him. No LaShawn McCoy, one of the best running backs in the NFL, left last week's game in the third quarter with a hamstring injury. Just wasn't himself. Now Jonathan Williams will get an opportunity as well. With Bush and Williams. Williams, the rookie out of Arkansas. Taylor, play fake with a flag down. He hits Bush out on the perimeter. Another step move, he's out of bounds. It's a first down, but the penalty marker is down at the 46-yard line on Buffalo's end of the field.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Costly penalty against Rex Ryan's squad. This one is coming back. Would have been a first down for Buffalo on the release by Bush.
That's 4 penalties against the Bills here in the first half. Against the Patriots, you cannot afford to hurt yourself, and that's what the Bills have done so far.
No LaShawn McCoy, no Sammy Watkins. Placed on IR, surgically repaired left foot. Bills looking to get him back. Dump off for Bush. And another penalty marker down, this one at the 45-yard line. Devin McCourty over there defensively for New England.
And another penalty against the Bills. Offensive pass interference this time.
Penalties piling up.
I think it was Jonathan Williams blocking downfield on that screen
Pass
pass.
interference. Offense number 19. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
And again, Walter Powell, the wide receiver. That's a real iffy call. But again, a penalty will back the Bills up as they are out to midfield. Now back all the way to their 30.
Buffalo came in averaging 36.3 points per game at home. #1 in the NFL. They've been 0-3. Taylor rifles it. Incomplete, and he's fortunate it wasn't picked off. Clay looked more like the defender against Devin McCourty on that pass from Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, great job by McCourty to stay with Clay. Clay, who for a big man has good speed. Right on his shoulder, and the ball thrown away from the inside safety. And perhaps it was that hit right there by Collins that forced that throw to be almost picked off by McCourty.
So Buffalo now standing at a 3rd and 24. Taylor, a low dart underneath, and that allows the defenders to get over to Mike Gillislee. Trey Flowers makes the play, and the fans react here at New Era Field. 6-yard gain on a 3rd and 24, and Gillislee is not right. He's limping on his way to the Buffalo sideline. Making just his 2nd career start. Big opportunity for Mike Gillislee. Colton Schmidt will punt to Julian Edelman. They're standing at the 15-yard line of New England. 14-3, the Patriots on top of the Bills. 10:20 to go, first half. Schmidt had to redirect a bit. That snap was off to the side. It sends Edelman all the way back inside the 10. Circles to the outside, and he angles out of bounds at the 17.5-yard line. 14-3, Pats in front.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda. Great deals are waiting for you at your local Honda dealer. Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network. And by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com.
Who's that kid?
Some of the kids from our CBS crew showing off their costumes Halloween weekend.
Oh, I thought that was you.
That's some tricks and some treats.
A.J. Boileau.
First down for New England. Brady underneath. He hits Martellus Bennett. And a short gain, 2 yards Shaq Lawson. You're going to get candy, you show up at someone's door with that look?
Well, the blazer still fits him.
It was a perfect fit.
He's 7 years old.
Is he a 38 short? I guess so.
He's a good sport, and so are you, my friend. Happy Halloween. I like your costume today, too.
Oh, this look?
Yeah.
I'm going for the CPA look.
You got it.
Patriots lead it. And they've got 9.5 minutes left to go in this first half. Look at this time for Brady. Finally just tosses it all the way downfield and nobody there.
But he took another shot this time. Finally, Shaq Lawson drops the future Hall of Famer. But it's a three-man rush, so the 5 offensive linemen do a good job. And a real good job in the secondary with 8 defenders.
Little late on the release. No penalty flag as Lawson got a shot on Tom Brady, and now a 3rd and 8 for the Patriots. Brady is 9 of 15, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. James White flanking Brady. Brady pump. Brady hit from behind. Sacked by Preston Brown. 3 and out for New England.
First sack of the year for Preston Brown, number 52, working against Nate Solder. Brady never saw him or expected him, and it's really fortunate for Brady. He doesn't fumble this ball. Brown not going for the ball, going for the tackle. Instead, he had an opportunity to tomahawk that ball out, but he'll take the sack anyway.
The punt from Ryan Allen. Brandon Tate settles under it, and his momentum carries him out of bounds at the 42-yard line after the 43-yard kick. Tom Brady taking some shots today in Western New York.
Tom Brady is 9 of 15 in the first half for 109 yards, and he's paid for those yards. Darius with the hit, then it's Zach Brown. Kyle Williams finally gets a sack. A little bit of a late hit there by Shaq Lawson, and then the second sack by Preston Brown. 2 drives in a row that the Patriots have not gained a yard.
Brady has 64 touchdown passes in his career against Buffalo, the most he's had against any opponent. Gillislee. Mike Gillislee across midfield and a penalty marker on the play. Spot the ball at the 49-yard line of New England.
And move it back. Move it back.
It's going to be penalty number 6.
Holding. Offense. Number 70. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
And it's Eric Wood, the veteran center, went to the Pro Bowl last year.
Here he is right in the middle of the screen. And to his right is Alan Branch. He comes out on the linebacker Roberts and grabs a hold of the shoulder pad, and that was enough to get the big gain and to draw the flag.
So it's a 1st and 16. It was the penalty taken off of where they got the gain on the play. Taylor throws the deep ball, incomplete. Charles Clay, and he is slow getting up. 2 Patriot defenders back there with the tight end.
He landed hard on that right shoulder too, but McCourty again with great coverage. Look at the eyes on the ball. Ball slides right through the arms of Clay and then down hard on that right shoulder.
Training staff is out there for Charles Clay. We'll step aside here in the second quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hacksaw Ridge from director Mel Gibson, in theaters Friday. And by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Awkward landing there for Charles Clay. Medical staff is working with him along the Buffalo sideline. 25 catches, 270 yards this season for Clay. Just not a lot of weapons for Tyrod Taylor to work with. No LaShawn McCoy, no Watkins, no Marquise Goodwin. Taylor tosses underneath. That was a juggle there as Felton pinned it on his leg to secure it. And a modest gain of 3 yards on the play. Brought down by Landon Roberts.
Well, when Jerome Felton is your leading pass receiver, no disrespect to Jerome, but your offense is in trouble. You talked about all those weapons. And when you got a guy like McCoy and Sammy Watkins, those are game breakers. Guys that can take it the distance. Right now, we haven't seen any option out of the Bills.
3rd and 12. Taylor timing route, sideline. Flag down. Justin Hunter tried to make a one-handed stab. Eric Rowe there defensively for the Patriots.
Now watch Rowe as the ball gets in there. He's got his right hand on the hitting the left arm of Hunter to his side. Finally, the Bills get to move the ball down closer to the goal line. But Eric Rowe, taking the spot of Logan Ryan, gets called for the flag. 29 yards worth of flag.
So that moves the football into New England territory. Taylor floats it. Caught by Reggie Bush. Inside the New England 10. Bush against Shea McClellan.
Just coming out of the backfield on the wheel route out to the outside and then up the field. And Bush secures the catch and almost gets to the end zone.
1st and goal at the 7. And a flag down, 2 of them.
12 men on the field for the Patriots.
On the field, 12 men, defense. After the goal, 1st down.
Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and Gerard Sheard is number 12.
So 1st and goal now at the 3.5-yard line. New England just got a player off. It would have been back-to-back 12 men on the field. And a timeout called. Bill Belichick uses the timeout. They might have had 10 men on the field. Confusion there for New England defensively on personnel groupings. And a death stare from Matt Patricia.
Looks like a mad rocket scientist in that picture. Well, let's try to count it again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 again.
They had 12 to start. Then there was a mad rush to get off the field. And on back-to-back plays, New England, uncharacteristic.
And what happened is the Patriots realized they had 12, so 2 guys left. And that left them with 10 and forced them to call the timeout.
1st and goal inside the 4. Taylor on a give. Gillislee plows through for the touchdown. Mike Gillislee hits pay dirt.
Well, Jerome Felton, 42, is going to lead the way. Just an old-fashioned blast play, and that's exactly what Gillislee does. He blasts his way through Jamie Collins and into the end zone. Watch 42 come up on Hightower. That's Felton. And then Gillislee makes the one guy miss, and it's a good tackler, too, in Jamie Collins.
Dan Carpenter on for the extra point. 5 plays, 59 yards for the Buffalo Bills. Snap was offline, handled nicely by Schmidt. And the extra point is good. Buffalo Bills, they're losing players. They still have a talented guy in Gillislee. Tyrod Taylor told us that Mike Gillislee's nickname in the locker room is Touchdown Mike. He lives up to that nickname with a 3-yard touchdown run, capping off a 5-play, 59-yard drive for Buffalo. First touchdown of the day for the Bills, who now trail the Patriots 14-10. Yeah, that's good. That's Rob Ryan.
Isn't Halloween a great holiday?
It is, Dan. You used to go as the most interesting man in the world. Unfortunately, they casted a new guy for Dos Equis.
They did?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, you know, when I played quarterback, plays called me.
That's what I heard. And Amendola, the return man. Hit hard as he crossed the 20-yard line by McCray on special teams. Coming up, Verizon halftime report. We'll send it back to the studio. Oh, nice costumes. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher, latest NFL scores and highlights, and a preview of Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. That's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. They got their Sharpies ready. That's next level.
And next year I'm going to go as Boomer Esiason. That's a good costume he's got on.
New England 120 yards in the first quarter. Have not found their footing in the second quarter, and Blunt runs into a wall at the 25 after a 4-yard pickup. First man there, Preston Brown, who knocked Blunt the other way, which is hard to do.
Well, Blunt is averaging less than 3 yards a carry here in the first half, so the Bills doing a good job of keeping him contained.
Blunt on pace for a career high 1,294 yards rushing this season. Had 189 yards, career high against Buffalo back in 2013. Brady to the sideline, wrestled for it, and Chris Hogan wins the battle. Ronald Darby one-on-one with Hogan. Those two know each other, and Hogan's got a first down.
Yeah, this is his third catch of the afternoon. But yeah, you see Brady put that ball up high. Hogan's listed at 6'1", but in meeting with him yesterday, he may have grown a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got good hops, too. That's a basketball term.
Oh, thanks, Dad. New vernacular from you. Hand off to Blunt, stiff arm. Blunt, good effort just to make something out of that run. Zach Brown over there. It's a 4-yard gain for LeGarrette Blunt.
And he showed real good balance that time. Once he gets to the outside and gets his shoulder squared to the line of scrimmage, he is a real load to bring down. And rarely does he get knocked backwards.
Good feature today on the NFL Today. Extra points. LeGarrette Blunt, known as LG. Life's good. 30th birthday coming up in December, and he's ready for some ribbing for being an old man in the locker room. James White sets up as a receiver. Brady on a 2nd and 6 for New England. Steps up in the pocket, throws it downfield. Oh, separation, Gronkowski! He's gone! Touchdown, Patriots! Back in Western New York, Rob Gronkowski with a big spike. And New England extends the lead. Rob Gronkowski, new Patriot record, touchdown number 69 for Gronk.
Working against nickel, Roby Coleman. And how about the speed for the big man? Pulling away from the defensive back. No contest as he glides into the end zone. Finishes with a bow and a huge Gronk spike.
69th career touchdown for Rob Gronkowski, topping the mark set by Stanley Morgan, a member of the Patriots between 1977 and 1989. Gronkowski, in just his 7th year with the Patriots, already has got the franchise's all-time mark. It had been quiet for Gronkowski until that play for New England. That's 3 touchdowns now for Tom Brady. That's 65 in his career against the Buffalo Bills. And it's 21-10 Patriots. Marcel Darius limped off for Buffalo and probably working through the hamstring issues on the bike right now. Darius making his season debut after serving a 4-game suspension and then missing the last 3 games because of a hamstring injury he suffered in practice. Reggie Bush, Brandon Tate are deep, waiting for the kick from Gostkowski. Tate has 2 career kickoff returns for touchdowns. Gostkowski blasts it, and Tate will take a knee. Bills will have it at the 25-yard line, now trailing 21-10. Let's check out our Fouts focus, Dan.
Well, what you're looking for as a quarterback is man-to-man coverage. Here's Gronkowski, and here is Roby Coleman. Watch Edelman go with a little option route here to draw the coverage man up on him. So once Gronkowski gets through the little chuck there by Roby Coleman, Brady looking down the middle of the field, sees nobody else down there, and it's his second 53-yard touchdown pass of the first half.
Tyrod Taylor looking downfield, rush still coming, low throw, it's incomplete. Jerome Felton, the intended receiver for Buffalo, and Jabal Sheard putting the heat on Taylor.
And more injuries for the Bills, perhaps, as Walter Powell limped off the field.
Let's get an update from Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, it could just get worse because Charles Clay, no designation from the organization on his injury, but it's clearly surrounding his right shoulder, guys. I'll keep an eye on Powell and Darius.
Yeah, it was on that strange landing on the attempted deep ball earlier. Stutter step, Gillislee. Oh, fantastic run by Gillislee, zigzagging to the outside. Richie Incognito with a key block. Dante Hightower could not bring him down, and Gillislee turns it into a 16-yard gain.
Now, Incognito, the left guard here, pulling. He hits Roberts out of the hole. Good sharp cut there. Good fake on McCourty, and then trying to get down the field in front of Rowe.
So a first down across the 40-yard line for Buffalo. Still 3:36 to go in this first half. Now the pistol, Gillislee picks his way and flagged out in the backfield. Dante Hightower, first man there, combining with Malcolm Brown for New England, and the Patriots indicating it will be against Buffalo. And Gillislee needs a breather. Jonathan Williams checks in.
Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty replay, first down.
And that's the second hold on Eric Wood, one of the leaders of this Buffalo offense. He's been an anchor now in his 8th year with the Buffalo Bills. First-round draft pick back in 2009 out of Louisville. So back it up to the 31. 7 penalties, 51 yards. Taylor finds his man, Walter Powell. Powell seeing extended time because of the injuries. He just had not played a whole lot as a receiver. Cups of coffee with the Jets and the Oakland Raiders. 6th-round pick back in 2014 by Arizona. But Powell, Hunter, Tate seeing a lot of time. Robert Woods is not 100% himself. So Woods back, but has not gotten involved in the action. Taylor running with it. Slowed down, falls forward to the 45, and Taylor looking for a flag. Logan Ryan gets to Taylor.
Yeah, he is very difficult to bring down. He's real strong in the lower body. Pulls away from Ninkovich there from behind. Malcolm Brown misses him there and picked up a couple, but he wanted more after it looked like maybe a late hit when he was on the ground.
They do not have to run a play here if they don't want to, and it appears they don't want to. 2-minute warning in Orchard Park with the Patriots leading the Bills 21-10. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher, latest scores and highlights, and a preview Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Under 2 minutes to go now in the first half, 36. Taylor drops it over the middle, and Tate has enough for the first down. 7-yard pickup through the air, hit by Jamie Collins. And this drive continues for Buffalo.
A really good job by Taylor to hang in there. He was looking for an escape route out of the pocket. Saw Tate for the first down and got it to him.
In New England territory at the 49. Under a minute and a half to play. First half. Taylor play fake. Deep ball. Taylor. Incomplete. looking for Justin Hunter. Hunter was a second-round draft pick back in 2013 out of Tennessee and just never lived up to the billing with the Titans, getting a golden opportunity here with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, coaches talk about a good catch radius because of his size, but needs to work on getting better separation from the defensive backs.
Taylor now 9 of 19, 88 yards. Taylor hooks up with Powell. First down. Just short of the 35-yard line. Charles Clay is heading to the locker room, and Walter Powell just went off with an injury, and the medical staff is tending to him on the Buffalo sideline. Clock is ticking, 55 seconds left. Ball fake. Taylor down the sideline, and it's picked off. Intercepted by McCourty with a penalty marker down, 2 of them.
Yeah, it's going to be against Eric Rowe. It was an out and up move by Hunter, and he grabbed him.
So Rowe seeing more playing time for the Patriots. Got called on a penalty earlier.
There's 2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Holding, defense, number 23. Penalties decline. Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense, number 25. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So they got Chung and Rowe. Rowe is the accepted penalty.
Now watch the move by Hunter, a little stop and go there. Then there's the illegal contact about 10 yards down the field. Patrick Chung was called for holding. But they're going to get Rowe for his second pass interference call. Remember, it was his first one that led to a Bills touchdown.
Eric Rowe acquired a deal with Philadelphia, former second-round draft pick from Utah. Rowe replaced Logan Ryan in the starting lineup last week. Cyrus Jones is inactive, rookie from Alabama, who had been seeing some playing time at corner. 49 seconds left. Taylor offline with Robert Woods, and Butler holds up on that side for New England. 2nd and 10.
You can see that Robert Woods is just not 100%, battling a foot injury. A tough time coming out of his break. Malcolm Butler right in his shadow.
Bills come in number 25 in total offense. They have not finished in the top 10 in total offense since 2004, when they finished 7th in the league. Long ball. Outstanding attempt, but Powell could not haul it in a matchup with Butler.
He couldn't get his left hand up to match his right hand. He stops the ball with his right hand. Butler with good coverage.
So now it's 3rd and 10. 38 seconds to play, first half. Reggie Bush in the game. This is the 10th play of the drive. Taylor sets, fires to the sideline, incomplete. Intended receiver Robert Woods, and it's 4th down for Buffalo. Dan Carpenter coming on for a field goal attempt with 32 seconds to play in the first half. Looking at a 49-yard attempt here for Carpenter. His long this season is 45.
He's got the wind at his back, but it's kind of a crosswind. It could play havoc with a long field goal try.
If he misses, this is good field position for New England with 30 seconds to work with. Carpenter off the upright, no good. Just missed it. And the Patriots take over with 27 seconds left on the clock.
And 2 timeouts, but again, the wind is a left to right wind, and that ball just could never hook between the uprights. That's the favored hash mark for Carpenter. He kicks his extra points from the right hash mark. aims at the right upright and draws the ball between the posts. Not that time.
So New England takes over at the 39. Woods has left early. And Brady will work out of the gun. They need about 30 yards to get into Gostkowski range.
He might need a little bit more because he will be going against the wind.
Brady steps up in heavy traffic and could get nothing on that throw as he's dumped. Amendola in the vicinity, but you had Shaq Lawson there, you had Kyle Williams there. And it's 2nd and 10 with 20 seconds left.
And remember, Lorenzo Alexander is yet to return after injuring what appeared to be his hamstring on a punt coverage team.
And that's a big void. Brady underneath. James White, catch and run. Oh, pretty fake. White with a juke move to the outside. Remember, this is a team that has Dion Lewis, talented running back, who's practicing now, and Lewis could return soon, giving them yet another weapon.
And Tom Brady, in his own words, loves James White. Loves him. Good
Now
reason.
at the 45-yard line, 12 seconds left in the half. Brady fires it. Complete. Amendola and a timeout call with 7 seconds to play. They are at the 40-yard line of Buffalo.
And this would be probably out of the range of Gostkowski, considering the weather conditions, but not out of the range for Brady to launch one high. Remember, he can put Gronkowski down there and Bennett down there. Both of them go about 6'6".
Or they go with a quick out for 6-7 yards and get Gostkowski out there for about a 50-yard attempt. Right now it would be a 58-yard attempt, so they're not even going to try it.
Well, they don't even need a quick out. They have one timeout, so they could throw it to Edelman over the middle maybe.
7 seconds to play. Brady tossing to Gronkowski, and there is that timeout. So 2 seconds remaining. They will get Stephen Gostkowski an opportunity here. He has been so reliable through the years. 4-time Pro Bowler, the team's all-time leader in points. And it's a reminder in the kicking game that you can have these lapses that are tough to explain. He's doing everything the same way he used to do it, but the results have not been at the same level that he's grown accustomed to. This is a 51-yard attempt.
And really challenging conditions too. The rain has stopped, but the wind has not. And it's a right to left wind going in this direction.
The snapper is Joe Cardona. The holder is the punter Allen. 51 yards away, trying to get some points before we hit the break. And Rex Ryan will take a timeout. Well, Rex certainly not above using some mental games when necessary.
Absolutely. The guy's struggling. Make him think about it that much longer. Smart call by Rex Ryan. And it's, you know, cold enough to ice somebody today.
Yeah. Well, that wind has been unpredictable, as it usually is here in Western New York. And now Gostkowski will go through his mental preparations. 51-yard attempt. 3 seconds left on the clock. From 51 yards away, Gostkowski angles it through.
The kick is good.
It hit the upright, and he gets the bounce he was looking for.
I don't think I've ever seen a ball move as much as this does. It looked like it was going to be right down the middle, and the wind caught it. Good hold and snap, but watch this ball slide back to the middle and then out back again to the left, and then off the upright and through.
Remember, Carpenter's kick also hit the post, but it went the wrong way for Buffalo. This one went the right way for New England. Tom Brady and the Patriots produce points at the end of this second quarter. And for Rex Ryan, not what he was hoping for. End of the first half. Patriots 24, the Bills 10. Verizon halftime report is coming up. After this, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Brady pulls the trigger, end zone, touchdown, and the Patriots go in front. Brady hit from behind, sacked by Preston Brown. Brady over the shoulder grab, Chris Hogan. Tom Brady delivers a strike to the former Bill. Getting ready for second half action. Happy Halloween, everybody. Start of the third quarter with New England in front 24-10. Let's take a look at Who Are You Loving? Presented by McDonald's.
Well, just when you thought that the Bills were going to get back into this one, Brady recognizes a man-to-man coverage, and he finds his big tight end, Rob Gronkowski, for another touchdown.
Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn down on the sidelines. A chilly Sunday afternoon here in Orchard Park, New York. Rain was a factor early, stopped raining early second quarter. Dan, just the injuries for Buffalo. Are they going to have enough answers here to match what the New England Patriots bring to the field?
Well, Gillislee's been a bright spot for the Bills on offense, but it's just not been enough. Plus, when you count the penalties that they've had where they've killed their own drives, and Tyrod Taylor's been very inaccurate for most of the day. So a lot of questions, but you got to marvel at how well Brady played that first half. And the veteran that he is, the future Hall of Famer that he is, taking advantage of very few seconds at the end of that first half to get down and get 3 more points on the field goal by Gostkowski.
And New England will receive the kick to start this third quarter. Dan Carpenter puts it on the tee. Amendola is deep. Short kick. Amendola moves forward from the 4. Amendola works it to the sideline. Danny Amendola slowed down from behind, still going. Into Buffalo territory. Amendola won't go down. Inside the 25. Fantastic run by Amendola. Seymour saves a touchdown for Buffalo.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a hesitation as he was securing the catch, and I think that allowed his blockers to set up and really do a good job of creating a lane for him. Missed tackles there. Carpenter can't bring him down. He had trouble catching the ball, but finally gets it and takes it all the way to the 24-yard line, 73 yards.
And New England is in business. First play from scrimmage in the second half. It's Brady out of the gun. Brady in stride to Bennett. He's ridden down. And that's part of what this New England offense can do week in and week out. You have no idea who it's going to be. It's been Bennett in previous weeks, Gronkowski, Edelman, Hogan, Amendola, Blunt, James White. And Bennett is limping a bit as he heads to the New England sideline.
Well, that's his third catch of the day. Chris Hogan has 3, Gronkowski 3, Amendola 2, Edelman 2, James White 2. So the distribution absolutely perfect for the Pats.
Toss it to Edelman for the catch. Edelman bursting through, extending. Julian Edelman is in. Touchdown, Patriots. Quick strike by New England.
Now they got a great block from Amendola. And he breaks the tackle here. That's going to be real close. They're going to review this, obviously, because it's a scoring play. But the elbow is down. He may have got just enough to get across the line.
Ruling on the field was a touchdown. That took 1 minute for New England. Another look. Was it enough as that elbow came down? Right elbow down there. And the full extension by Edelman.
Well, there's no definitive angle. So the ruling on the field will probably stand as a touchdown.
They will take a look at it. We'll step aside and come back to Buffalo. John Parry will have the call here. They are congratulating Edelman.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as a touchdown.
Tom Brady, 4 touchdown passes today, including this one to Julian Edelman. Ruled on the field a touchdown after review. Didn't have any evidence to overturn it. It was close with the right elbow, but he extended with the left hand. And the extra point from Gostkowski is good. 31-10, Patriots.
Now this is Edelman's first touchdown reception of the year, and he had to really work for it. As he goes over the top of Corey Graham. And Brady continues his remarkable success against the AFC rival Buffalo Bills.
And you think even the coin toss, New England wins the coin toss, they defer. They get the 3 points at the end of the second quarter. They get the 7 points to start the third quarter. Buffalo looks up and says, what happened here? We were in the game, and now it's a 31-10 differential.
And a 73-yard kickoff return by Danny Amendola really sparked. And then the very couple of plays later, he gets the completion to Bennett, and then really a good block by Amendola gave Edelman the corner to get into the end zone.
Gostkowski will kick it off. Have a long field goal at the end of the first half, and then the Patriots bookend that with a touchdown right out of the gate in the third quarter. 1 minute in, ball comes off the tee. Brandon Tate, Reggie Bush are deep for Buffalo. Well, for Tom Brady, prolific numbers against the Buffalo Bills. 7,234 yards all time against Buffalo. The touchdown pass is now 66. Only Dan Marino has thrown for more yards against the Bills. The kick will take Tate 6 yards deep in the end zone. Bills will have it at the 25. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Why not what Rex Ryan was looking for to start this second half when we spoke during halftime about wanting to see more from his defense. Didn't pinpoint it on communication, but just didn't love the idea that they're giving up those big plays. But the important things are the injuries. Lorenzo Alexander, his day is done with that hamstring. Good news, though, Charles Clay is going to try and give it a go with the right shoulder.
That should mention as well, Aaron Williams out with that neck injury. He's one of the leaders and one of the guys that helps communicate on that back end. The toss is offline. The intended receiver was Justin Hunter, and it's incomplete. Passing game has not gotten any steam for the Buffalo Bills. Taylor has 100 yards through the air. The leading receiver is the fullback Jerome Felton with 2 catches and 26 yards.
Pressure that time by Malcolm Brown forced that poor throw by Tyrod Taylor.
On second and long now for Buffalo. Taylor out of the pocket. They run with it and pick up just a couple of yards. Hightower patrolling that area for New England. So 3rd and 8 now for Buffalo.
And the Bills just 3 of 8 converting their third downs in the first half.
Bills haven't swept the Patriots since 1999. In fact, no team in the AFC East has swept the Patriots since 2000. That year, Miami and the Jets were 2-0 against the Pats. Taylor is sacked at the 20. Dante Hightower combining with Trey Flowers.
The Hightower is going to go all the way around Jordan Mills. And Taylor trying to escape out the side of the pocket where he had room to step up in the middle and maybe make yardage in that direction. But Flowers and Hightower had other ideas.
Julian Edelman is the returner. Colton Schmidt will kick it. Oh, he lost it. Schmidt picks it up and runs with it. Schmidt gets there. On a busted punt play, Colton Schmidt.
This could be the turning point in the game, I think. I mean, when he picks it up, he still had time to punt it. Just drops it here. Trouble there. There's no rush.
It's pretty fast.
He was running for his life.
You know, at first glance, you think, well, this isn't going to end well.
Oops.
And Schmidt scoops it up and heads to the sideline. 16 yards for a first down. Unconventional one. Shotgun for Taylor. Taylor tosses. Got by Gillislee. Slowed down. And it allows the Patriots to come over and make a play on him. Malcolm Butler.
That was a good snap, but he's wearing a glove on his left hand. For what reason, I don't know. He doesn't have one on his right hand. Tom Brady on the sidelines following this intently.
And put the helmet away. Just like that. Second and 10 here for Buffalo. Give it to Williams. Got hit from behind. Williams falls forward, short of the 45. 8-yard gain. Good block from Jordan Mills from that right tackle position.
That was Williams' first carry of the day and sets up a third down now and very short for Buffalo to keep this drive alive. Of course, if they don't get it, they can always fake another punt maybe.
Bills will go empty. Work that into the playbook. Reggie Bush sets up on the outside as a receiver. Taylor tosses. It's online to Brandon Tate, who got popped. And Tate is down after the 10-yard pickup. Tate got shellacked.
Yeah, it's going to be Devin McCourty coming in. And McCourty does not launch, does not hit him with the helmet. This is not a defenseless receiver, so there is no flag, but it's still a huge hit on Tate.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica, imported from Detroit.
Brandon Tate injured on a big hit by his former teammate Devin McCourty. They're checking Tate along the sideline for Buffalo. That's another offensive player down for the Bills. Rush coming. Taylor dumps it off to Charles Clay, who's back in there. Looks like Clay was a question mark with a shoulder injury. And that's a 4-yard gain through the air, brought down by Patrick Chung of New England.
Yeah, it looked like Clay was going to get something a little bit more out of that, but it was a good tackle by Chung as he went real low on Clay and just tripped him up.
Second and 6 now for the Bills. We hit 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. They trail New England 31-10. Taylor from the gun, fires underneath, good hands there by Bush. He's got a first down. 9-yard pass play for Buffalo.
Now Reggie Bush has 473 pass catches in his career, and you can see that still got the good hands and the smarts to get up the field. At this point in his career, doesn't have the speed to go around the defense, but he did pick up the first down.
No, he was a home run threat in his heyday. Now in his 11th year and a lot of wear and tear. Handoff to Gillislee. He's been impressive. Mike Gillislee stepping in for LaShawn McCoy, tackled by Chris Long. With NFL Mobile, stream live, local, Sunday afternoon, and primetime games live on your smartphone. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile. 11th play of the drive. John Miller is limping coming out of the huddle at that right guard position for Buffalo. Nico Leary, the motion man, on a 2nd and 4 for the Bills. Gillislee tried to slip one tackle, could not. Landon Roberts, talented rookie, makes the play, and Brandon Tate will head to the locker room and are going to check him for a concussion.
Talking to Matt Patricia about Roberts, he says he's explosive, powerful, got good football instincts, and that leads to a good first step. You saw at that time as he closed that hole, looked like Gillislee had something going before Roberts brought him down.
Had 142 tackles and 6 sacks in his final year at Houston. Taylor, long ball, incomplete. Trying to get Walter Powell on the go route against Justin Coleman.
Just thrown just a little bit too far there. A little bit of jostling going for this ball. Coleman falls on the back of Powell's legs with this ball thrown about a foot too far.
And now it's 4th down, 4th and 3. A field goal doesn't help you. I know it's still 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, but you're down 31-10. From the gun, Taylor looking to run. Taylor accelerates. Tyrod Taylor, touchdown.
Now in this situation, 4th and short, the Patriots are going to be in man-to-man. Watch the blitz coming here, and once Taylor breaks through, there's just nobody there. Basically, it's about a 20-yard walk-in as he outraces Ryan and Coleman and scores his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. So the 2 big plays on this drive, one from the punter on a bobbled snap, picked up the 1st down by Schmidt, and then Taylor.
And Carpenter drills it. So they end up going 2 out of 2 on 4th down. One was not by design on that Schmidt run, but this one was. Taylor, goodbye to the end zone. 26-yard touchdown run for Tyrod Taylor, capping off a 13-play, 75-yard drive for the Buffalo Bills. Taylor's 3rd rushing touchdown of the season, and the Bills trying to hang around here against New England. It's 31-17 Patriots. Danny Amendola had the big kickoff return to start this second half, and the ball comes off the tee once again for Dan Carpenter. Patriots trying to move to 7-1 at the midway point of the season with a bye coming up. Then week 10 they will be home for Seattle. The Bills are at Seattle next week. Kickoff from Carpenter. Amendola will take a knee out to the 25-yard line. Rob Gronkowski back in Western New York. He was raised in nearby Williamsville.
Where do you stand up before you talk?
I Robbie in my 5.
He was a large 5-year-old, Dan. And he got bigger, much bigger. Multi-sport star, Williamsville North, 23 miles from New Era Field. Grew up a Buffalo Bills fan. Hand off to LeGarrette Blount. And a crowd there for Blount as he's driven down at the 30-yard line. It's a 5-yard pickup. Football a way of life in the Gronkowski family. His dad, Gordon, was an offensive lineman at Syracuse, and then Gordy Jr. played baseball. Dan played in the NFL. Chris, NFL. Rob, of course. And Glenn, currently on the practice squad of the New England Patriots, was briefly a member of the Buffalo Bills. Play action. Nothing on it. Tossing it to Edelman. Zach Brown had the coverage for Buffalo.
Really good job of Brady just recognizing that Brown had the angle on Edelman, and he threw that ball away. The Bills could use a stop here to maintain the momentum that they have garnered here to start this second half.
3rd and 5 for the Patriots. Brady steps up. Brady will run. Tom Brady slides down. Well, his mom thinks he's the fastest man in the NFL. He's not Usain Bolt, but it's good enough.
Yeah, he's just smart. Steps up into the pocket. Again, it's man-to-man in the secondary, so there's nobody going to be responsible for Brady. Why would you be? Because he's not a runner, but he's a smart runner at that. Got what he could, got down, and picked up another first down.
Back on the ground for Blunt. Stood up by Preston Brown. Forward progress is a gain of 3 for LeGarrette Blunt. 9 carries, 28 yards for Blunt.
But this is Blunt time, though, isn't it?
It is.
Got a 14-point lead. You want to milk the clock as much as possible. Keep the Bills offense on the sidelines.
Second and 7 now for New England. Play fake. Brady. High throw handled by Gronkowski. He doesn't have to lift off the ground because he's 6'6".
But he had great awareness of where he was on the field. As he comes out of this route, Brady finds him right down the sidelines, a little out and then up the sideline. Watch how sweet he uses his feet there. Checks out where he was, looked down at the ground, got them both in.
Josh McDaniels, every week, game plan tailored for the opponent, which gets his players excited about coming into work. No gain on the play. NFL Today update. JB, Bart Scott.
The Jets were down by 13, but
Not anymore. Matt Forte on 4th down takes in 4 yards to take the lead 21-20 in Cleveland.
2:11 left in the third. Back to Ian, Dan, and Evan.
Now here in the AFC East, guys, New England can build that lead to 3 games over Buffalo with a victory. Second and 10. Blunt stutter step. Motors through the middle for 5. Good block from Nate Solder as Zach Brown was in on the stop for Buffalo.
Yeah, he and Tooney working well on that left side, and Blunt really hit that with some big force.
And New England working quickly on a 3rd and 5. But Blunt goes down right away.
Well, the Bills had 12 men on the field. Leger Douzable could not get off in time as Brady saw that, snapped the ball, and he's going to get a free 5 yards here, and that might be good enough for a first down.
12 men on the field. Defense. 5-yard penalty results. First down.
So Tom Brady gets his guys lined up quickly. And right there, Douzable did not make it. So fresh set of downs for New England to work with. They are inside the Buffalo 25. 8 penalties for 56 yards against the Bills. About a 4:28 to go in the third quarter. Take the handoff. Brady steps up. Brady looking for it all to the end zone. Incomplete. Edelman lays out for it. Ronald Darby in coverage.
A couple of smart plays by Brady on this drive with the run and then getting the 12 men on the field. Then he sees the coverage here, just throws it out of the back of the end zone. Either Edelman's going to make an incredible catch or it's going to be an incomplete pass.
Second and 10 now for New England. Brady is 17 of 26, 251 yards, 4 touchdowns. And off. James White slashing through. White's got his first carry of the day, and he's ridden down by Preston Brown. A gain of 7. Third and 3, New England wasting no time. Amendola shifts to the backfield. Toss it to him. Amendola to catch and run. Amendola looking for the marker. And hit along the perimeter with a flag down. Nickell Robey-Coleman.
Yeah, no question. He really punished Amendola way out of bounds. This is the exact same formation and action that...
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense number 21. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
21 is Roby Coleman. And that's right about where Hightower hit Taylor earlier in the ball game and got away with it. No way that that one's not going to be called.
First and goal for New England. Toss it to Hogan. Hogan gets hit inside the 5 by Stephon Gilmore.
Some fan threw something right out on the field too at about the 1 yard line.
Yeah, initially I thought it might have been a flag, but I didn't say it because it didn't look yellow. So they've discarded that. And it's now second and goal. Well, it definitely wasn't a flag. Line of scrimmage is the 3 yard line. Play action. Brady, end zone. That's a flag, and it's incomplete. Hogan against Gilmore.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 24. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And another penalty against Buffalo.
Yeah, the self-destruction of this game by the Bills with another penalty. That's 10 now. And this is a first down and goal just outside the 1 yard line.
6 offensive linemen. Airborne. LeGarrette Blount for the touchdown. The Patriots are rolling.
Yeah, in behind James Devlin. Again, it's a straightaway blast play. Devlin leading the way, and then Blount going up over the top for his 9th rushing touchdown of the year.
"12 plays, 75 yards. LeGarrette Blount, 9th rushing touchdown of the season. And New England an extra point away from taking a 3-touchdown lead here in Buffalo. Point after from Gostkowski. They've done it through the air. They've done it on the ground with LeGarrette Blount. He's been a touchdown maker this season, leading the NFL in that category as Brady and McDaniel share a high 5. New England on top big.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The New England Patriots have put up 38 points. We still have 3:05 to play in the third quarter. Tom Brady and Josh McDaniels looking at some pictures along the New England bench. The chemistry between those two guys is off the charts. Returnable for Reggie Bush. Bush trying to turn the corner. He does. Reggie Bush out of bounds as he crossed the 40-yard line. So that's where the Bills will take over with 2:55 to go in the third. The Buffalo's in a deep hole against New England. Earlier this week, Buffalo Bills rookies brought a group of kids from the Boys and Girls Club on a Halloween adventure. Some of the rookies wore costumes as they led groups through haunted attractions, providing a fun, safe night out for the children. Halloween coming up, and the New England Patriots have a bye week. Tyrod Taylor to Robert Woods. His first catch of the day. It's in New England territory at the 40-yard line. And he was hit by Devin McCourty after the 20-yard pickup.
And what you're going to see out of the Patriots secondary is a lot of zone coverage now, playing deep. Try to make the Bills march it down the field with this big lead. Just rush about 4, maybe even sometimes 3 guys at Tyrod Taylor. So he should have time to find a receiver like he did that time.
Gillislee is in the backfield with Taylor. On first down for Buffalo. Taylor out of the pocket and fires to Robert Woods. Back to back for the 4th-year wideout from USC. That one covers 15 yards.
Great adjustment to this ball, thrown low on the run. Tough throw by Taylor and a tough catch by Woods.
Taylor had now gone 158 consecutive passes without a pick. Taylor on first down to the end zone. Powell had a step and a flag down. Walter Powell sharing a moment with Devin McCourty after the flag.
Pass interference, defense number 32. Automatic first down, spot on the 5.
Yeah, they got the wrong number. It's 22. Justin Coleman, who was the corner guarding Powell. They tried this earlier this quarter. Definitely contact there at about the 5-yard line. And that was enough to keep Powell from getting to that ball.
First and goal for Buffalo. Taylor, here's the option. Oh, he was looking to throw it, and Reggie Bush does! Taylor gets over there.
That should be an incomplete pass. Unless the officials are deeming that that was a backwards pass.
Dante Hightower was all over it. And that forced Reggie Bush's hand. Right there, he's looking to throw.
I'm going to say this was a backwards pass.
So the line of scrimmage is now the 16-yard line on a 2nd and goal with under a minute to play in the 3rd. Taylor has the protection. Taylor on the move. Reverses. And Taylor will toss it to the stands. Incomplete. Rob Ninkovich had the pressure on Tyrod Taylor.
Taylor showing real good strength here to pull away from the arm tackle here of Ninkovich. Tear away t-shirt and smartly thrown into the stands by Taylor.
3rd and goal for Buffalo. 42 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. New England comfortably in front, 38-17 against the Bills.
No.
Taylor fires underneath. That's made by Woods. And he gets walloped by Malcolm Butler. 6-yard gain. It's 4th down.
Malcolm Butler really laid it to Woods here too. And the key to that is Woods, after he gets hit, goes backwards. A lot of force here from Butler. Set up this 4th down.
So 4th and goal. It would have been a short field goal, but again, looking at the score, 38-17. Bills need touchdowns. They don't have to run a play here.
Well, they should.
They don't. And we go to the 4th. Buffalo will have a 4th and goal when we come back to Orchard Park. Right after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the 4th quarter here in Buffalo. 38-17. The Patriots on top of the Bills, and Buffalo facing a 4th and goal at the 10-yard line. First play of this 4th quarter.
You went that way.
Taylor from the gun. Rush coming. Taylor fires off the hand of Clay. Incomplete. And the Bills turned it over on downs. Rob Ninkovich was on the rush against Taylor.
Yeah, he was totally unblocked. And that's what forced Taylor to throw this ball sooner than he wanted to. Clay had gotten free in the back of the end zone. But how many balls have we seen glance off the hands of Buffalo receivers today? That one cost them 6. But
So New England takes over at its own 10-yard line.
But the defensive call by Matt Patricia was absolutely perfect, because it allowed Ninkovich to be a free rusher against Taylor, causing incompletion.
Well, with Tom Brady under center, New England averaging 31.7 points per game. Nearly intercepted. Edelman, the intended receiver on the play. And Ronald Darby in coverage. Tom Brady's day here in Orchard Park.
Yeah, 19 of 28, spreading around pretty good. 9-yarder to Amendola, 53-yarder to Hogan on the bomb, and then he finds Gronkowski right down the middle for another 53-yard touchdown. And he finished it off with a little swing to Edelman from 12 yards out. Everybody gets their incentive clauses thanks to Tom Brady today.
Is that what players think about, Dan?
At this point of the game, yes. When you're up by 21, you say, hey, give me some more.
2nd and 10.
Yeah, here's Bennett.
Martellus Bennett. He's wrestled down out across the 25-yard line. We asked Bennett about coming to New England. He said when the deal was made, he had no expectations about the Patriots. He just looked at it as a clean slate. And he said it feels like he's been with the team forever. It was love at first sight for Martellus Bennett.
And if he can just shake this ankle injury, as you see him limping off the field, it's been bothering him for a couple of weeks. Been playing through it. You can see the heavy tape job on his right ankle. Doesn't seem to slow him down a whole lot, though.
Hey, Linda, Alpha, go!
Nobody uses the clock better than the Patriots as Brady brought down by Shaq Lawson. First NFL sack for the rookie out of Clemson. And he got it against one of the greatest ever, Tom Brady.
And he goes right around Nate Solder. Solder tried to cut him. And Lawson showing good agility to avoid that block and jump on Brady's back.
Second and 15 here for New England. Gronkowski, the motion man, and off for James White. Slices to the 29-yard line. 8-yard gain for White. Tonight, what does marijuana have to do with this coming election? A lot. It may become legal in many more states. Plus, an American who led an ISIS cell on 60 Minutes tonight only. CBS. So now 3rd and 7 for the Patriots. 8 of 10 on 3rd down conversions today. We've got 12:50 remaining in the 4th. From the gun, Brady steps up. Brady dials up the long ball. Incomplete. Hogan against Darby, who got a little bit of help. And a penalty marker down at the 30-yard line.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 90. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Now Shaq Lawson gets his first NFL sack, and then on the same drive, he gets a penalty to keep this possession alive for New England.
And that was really late. He had about 2.5 steps, and he just plows into Brady. Rookie mistake.
This offensive line has stabilized for New England. There were a lot of moving parts in the last couple of years for the Patriots. Motion man is Devlin. Blunt gets the call. Cuts it across midfield and into Buffalo territory for a gain of 7. Marcel Darius and Brandon Spikes, the former Patriot, in on that stop. There's Dante Scarnecchia, 68 years old, his 31st year with the Patriots organization. He has served under Ron Meyer, Dick McPherson, Pete Carroll, Bill Parcells, and Bill Belichick.
Going with it? Yeah, sure.
That's a pretty good list, and he's done a great job, especially this year when you look at the youth of this offensive line.
Blunt goes down behind the line of scrimmage. There's a young Dante. And then through the years, and not just an offensive line coach. We asked Bill Belichick about him. He said he's a great teacher. He could coach any position, the way he works with 10-year veterans, but then can work equally as well with rookie free agents because of his skills at all different spots.
And
Demanding, and he got to know him first when they served together under Bill Parcells in 1996.
Well, and at his age, to still do this job, the hours that you put in, the word passion comes into play when you talk about a coach like Skarnecki.
He was out of it for a couple of years, and then he's back, overseeing this offensive line with Solder, Tooney, Andrews, Mason, and Cannon. There's a cannon to Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski pushes a defender out of the way, rumbling inside the 20. Stephon Gilmore didn't have a chance against Gronk.
It's a back shoulder throw right to the chest of Gronk. And then there's 5 yards. There's 10, there's 15. About 20 yards on the play. Good for a 33-yard gain. But after contact, how do you bring that man down?
What did Corey Graham tell us when we asked him about Gronk? He said, you watch him on film, it looks like he's moving in slow motion, but it's deceptive.
Yeah, it's because he has such a long stride and he's so powerful.
First down play to Blunt, and he's dropped immediately by Kyle Williams. The Bills were one of 5 teams that had not given up a touchdown to a tight end this season until Gronk got one earlier. He's over 100 yards. Rob Gronkowski, 5 catches, 109, and the touchdown, 53 yards.
And Tom Brady's not only a great quarterback, he's a healer. He healed that bad hamstring of Gronkowski when he got back.
Yeah, Gronk did play in the first meeting between these two teams. Just was not a factor. He was bouncing back from that injury. Ready? Incomplete. Was trying to get it to James White. Gronkowski came in averaging 22.1 yards per catch. Today, I mean, he's just not getting it done. He's at 21.8.
Yeah, you know, that's a phenomenal number for a wide receiver, a speed merchant and all that. Shifty guys. But for a tight end,
unheard of.
It is unheard of. If he can maintain that, that would be a record that perhaps only he would be able to break in the future.
9:34 to go. 3rd and 12 for the Patriots. Brady looking downfield. Brady goes to the other side. Oh, it's dropped. James White with a penalty marker down.
You're going to get Stephon Gilmore for holding. As he held White, but White broke away and ended up dropping a touchdown pass.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 24. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So no harm for New England other than not getting points on the board. But for Buffalo, it's been a rough day with the flags. 12 penalties for 84 yards.
Well, White gets away with a push off there. And Gilmore really didn't hold him all that much.
Blunt on the stutter. Stacked up at the 11-yard line. 4-yard gain for LeGarrette Blunt. And some words being exchanged between these two teams. You go back to the first meeting. There was a pregame tussle with Jacoby Brissett, Malcolm Mitchell running onto the field in New England. Robert Blanton took exception to it. It didn't escalate into something bigger.
False start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
False start against Rob Gronkowski. This was before the game, 4 weeks ago. Brissett kept on going. Mitchell was then in a crowd of Bills. Patriots coaches had to come in and try to keep the peace. The officials were not on the field at the time. There were no fireworks pregame here today in Orchard Park. 2nd and 11. Brady throws to Julian Edelman. Hot step inside the 10. Combination of Preston Brown and Robert Blanton for Buffalo brings down Edelman, gain of 7.
That shows you just how competitive Edelman is. Caught that out route, could have gone out of bounds, but he stepped back, jumped to the inside, and tried to split the tacklers to get in the end zone.
Danny Amendola back in, replacing Edelman. 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter. On a 3rd and 4 now for New England. Brady goes down. Marcel Darius, first man there to greet Tom Brady. And it's 4th down for the Pats.
And really, isn't it time for Tom to take a seat on the bench? The 21-point lead and absorbing another couple of big shots.
4 touchdowns for Brady, 315 yards. 4th sack of the day for the Buffalo defense. And Gostkowski on for a short field goal, 32-yard attempt. That one is through. New England has put up 41 points. They've got a big lead on the Buffalo Bills. Start your Halloween night with Kevin James in a scary, funny episode of TV's #1 new comedy, Kevin Can Wait. That's tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. The only blemish on New England's record this season is a loss to the Bills in Week 4. You go back, the last 6 times an AFC East opponent won the first game against Bill Belichick's squad. The Patriots won the second game, the rematch, by an average of 28 points.
Focus, revenge.
All of the above.
Job well done, really.
Kickoff from Gostkowski. Walter Powell is deep. Takes it on a bounce and will not exit the end zone. Bills will have it at the 25. New England ready to hit the bye with another W.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AutoTrader. Find your perfect new, used, or certified car on AutoTrader. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Members of our crew here, the NFL on CBS, their kids getting ready for Halloween tomorrow. New England with a 41-17 advantage over the Buffalo Bills. Just over 7 minutes left. Taylor tosses to Nick O'Leary. And O'Leary's got a first down. 7th catch of the season for the Florida State product. John Mackey Award winner out of Florida State. First down at the 35. Gillislee flanks Taylor. Taylor dragged down by Ninkovich. Penalty marker on the play. 12 penalties against Buffalo, 7 against New England.
Yeah, make it 8 against New England.
Illegal contact, defense number 52, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's a Landon Roberts, illegal contact. Ninkovich didn't play in the first meeting between these two teams either. That was the final game of his 4-game suspension. We asked Rob, well, what'd you do? How'd you stay in shape? He said he would go to the local park, full pads and a helmet. Taylor stays on his feet and runs with it. Tyrod Taylor, excellent effort. Patrick Chung got there and nearly brought him down, and Taylor turns it into a 17-yard pickup.
Well, Patrick Chung says he runs like a running back. He's got a great arm. He just pulls out of this tackle, puts his left hand down to keep his balance, and then shows off that speed.
So Ninkovich said that people were looking at him like he was crazy. Well, he was going through his workout to the park. And we said, well, where'd you have a helmet? Like, was it a Patriot helmet? He said, no, Gronk had one in his car. Where did that come from? Just with a blank slate on it.
Yeah, no logo or anything. Should have had a big G on it for Gronk. But, you know, Ninkovich is a linebacker, and we'll just leave it at that. And Gronk is Gronk.
Hey, go, rings.
Been part of this since 2009. Rob Ninkovich, previous stops at the Rams in Miami, nearly intercepted by Malcolm Butler with a penalty marker down at the 37-yard line.
Illegal use of hands to the face, defense number 21. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That penalty against Butler. So that's number 9 against New England.
Now it's bump and run against Hunter. Actually, it was against Robert Woods, and it looked like he whiffed on the hands to the face. I got a couple of rule suggestions for you, Ian, after this play.
Well, that's a tease. On first down, Taylor flushed out, throwing on the move, and too high over the head of Walter Powell.
But number one, when your game is out of hand like this, 24 points, the officials cannot throw penalty flags.
Oh, really?
No
matter what happens on the field?
Well, just free play. You let the boys play, and you let the clock run, and everybody goes home happy. Especially if you got to play in the catch.
I see. So there's ulterior motives. 2nd and 10 for Buffalo. Taylor on a give. Spun down and Jonathan Williams. Buffalo's rushing numbers will look good at the end of the game, but this is where numbers don't tell the story. They ended up being meaningless yards in many ways because they couldn't establish the pass, and the running game didn't turn into points.
Well, they have 174 yards passing. They average per game 175. 31st in the NFL. Not good enough.
164 on the ground for Buffalo. Now it's a 3rd and 9. Williams remains in there. We're down to 4:42 to go. Taylor off his back foot, floats it, incomplete. In the direction of Justin Hunter.
Jamie Collins really put pressure on Taylor that time. Number 91 is Collins. He gets by incognito. Just punishes Taylor.
So 4th down now for Buffalo. 4th and 9. Taylor 18 of 37, 174 yards, 48 yards rushing and a touchdown. Here comes the rush. It was Mingo. Taylor completes it to Robert Woods. The question is whether it's enough for a first down. It's right there. If it's not, New England will take over.
Well, Mingo had a free run at the quarterback. It was a great job by Taylor throwing off his back foot, fading away, finding Woods. And now we'll see if Woods had just enough for the first down.
Now, from this angle, it didn't appear that he had it.
That's a heck of a throw. And I think he got a bad mark, basically, because this is going to be short of the first down.
Patriots football. Not enough to move the chains.
They're going to challenge it, though.
John Parry will have the announcement. Call on the field was short of the first down. Rex Ryan challenged it.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Buffalo is charged with a team timeout. 1st and 10, New England.
So New England has the football, and a reminder that coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB and the crew. Latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Subway postgame show. That'll do it for Tom Brady. 315 yards and 4 touchdowns, shredding the Bills once again. Jimmy Garoppolo is in. LeGarrette Blount tossed down by Darius.
And the key for Brady this afternoon, it was his start. First 5 third-down situations. He converted all 5 of them. 2 of them went for touchdowns. Just another day at the office.
Dan, the Patriots will improve to 26-3 against Buffalo with Brady at quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo, starting QB in place of Brady the first 2 weeks of the season before sustaining a shoulder injury. LeGarrette Blount again. And Garoppolo, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. The quarterbacks of New England have not thrown a pick this season. So that would be 8 games to start the year, which is 1 shy of an NFL record set by the Cleveland Browns in 1960.
Yeah, the great Milt Plum, quarterback for the Browns that season.
Ted Karras is in at center working with Garoppolo. Cameron Fleming is in at right tackle. And this is a 3rd and 9. Garoppolo, he's sacked. He got slammed down by Zach Brown. Lorente McCray also there defensively for the Bills, and it's 4th down.
And Garoppolo's been sitting on the bench all day. This is really a rude greeting by Zach Brown.
Final 2:44 of this 4th quarter. Walter Powell is now the return man for Buffalo on punts. Awaiting the kick from Ryan Allen. Powell is up the 39-yard line of the Bills. Got a pretty good rush. Hang time is there, and Powell will fair catch it at the 34. It's a 50-yard kick. Coming back for the final moments in Orchard Park.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway. Try the new Autumn Carb Turkey Sandwich today. And by the redesigned 2017 Kia Forte.
They look so excited.
Do I have to put on those t-shirts?
The things people will do to be on television. E.J. Manuel is in the game replacing Tyrod Taylor. Jonathan Williams, the ball carrier, hit by Trey Flowers. So Manuel, the number 16 pick overall in 2013. The Bills thought they had their future quarterback. Was given an opportunity to be the starter, but couldn't hold on to it. Bills eventually going out and acquiring Tyrod Taylor. 2 minutes to go. Coming up, Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher. Latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Subway postgame show. E.J. Manuel working out of the gun on a 2nd and 7 with 2 minutes to go. Manuel tosses it downfield. Oh, what a grab. Walter Powell. It's a clean catch for Powell. Jordan Richards and Duron Harmon there defensively. How did he hold on to this thing?
He gets hit right there by Harmon, but does he maintain the ball catch throughout?
It was David Tyree-esque when he put it up against his helmet, and somehow, yes, he did maintain it on his left shoulder.
And hit the ground, but he never lost control.
Manuel, a spiral. And that one goes through the hands of Powell.
And that was an easier catch.
And Powell has had a very long afternoon physically. That's it for Tyrod Taylor. 233 total yards, the rushing touchdown. The Bills will drop to 500, 4-4 at the halfway point. And they will be at Seattle next week, Monday Night Football.
Taylor was 500 passing today, 19 out of 38.
Hey, foot! Hey, get him out!
Final minute 47. E.J. Manuel stepping up. Manuel is dropped. Trey Flowers gets to the quarterback as Manuel tried to get it upfield. For the Patriots, the bye week. They asked Tom Brady what his plans were. He said, it's not up to him. Somebody else in the household will make that decision.
He said with a smile.
He did. Seattle coming up at San Francisco at the Jets. With LA and Baltimore still to come.
Hey, coin to you, coin to you.
Ready?
3rd and 12 now for Buffalo. Manuel, deep ball to the end zone, knocked away with a flag. Robert Woods against Eric Rowe.
Pass interference, defense number 25. Automatic first down, spot of the foul.
Been a rough day for Eric Rowe as he grabs Woods right there. Knocks the ball away, prevents the touchdown, but also draws the flag. Woods doing a little grabbing of his own. But Rowe did get there before the ball did.
Set it up, 1st and goal at the 1. Williams shifts to the backfield. Manuel operates out of the gun. Handoff. Williams trying to push the pile. And Williams is not in. Down to 50 seconds left.
Now Williams looking for his first NFL touchdown. And this play, he has no lead blocker. Looked like he broke the plane, yeah.
But they would have to challenge it. It's not automatic unless it's a scoring play.
Yeah, the booth is going to take a look at this because it's inside of 2 minutes.
Timeout New England. Team's first. 30-second timeout.
So the running play by Jonathan Williams, we just saw it on the replay. It looked like he got there.
Watch that right knee right here. Where's the ball when?
Yeah, tough to tell. I thought he had it. Yeah, that extension, but might have been bang bang, and they'll play on here on a 2nd and goal for Buffalo. Working out of the pistol. And this time he's in. Touchdown Bills.
The difference that time is he had a fullback leading the way.
Yeah, the timing was a bit off here. I don't think Rex wants to challenge it anymore.
Watch Felton come in here, take care of Mingo. And Williams does eventually get that first NFL TD.
So 30 seconds left, the officials huddling up. Rex Ryan was trying to make the point that the previous play should have been looked at by the officials. The officials didn't look at it. Under 2 minutes, we understand that everything is looked at upstairs.
Challenge flag was thrown after the ball was snapped. Ruling in the field is a touchdown. We'll do the PAT. Unsportsmanlike conduct, Buffalo for throwing the challenge flag. 15-yard penalty on the ensuing kickoff.
So my point being, if a coach wants them to look at it,
he has to call timeout.
Correct, and explain it. And the fact of the matter is, it's not triggered automatically. If it was a scoring play, it's an automatic trigger and the officials have to look at it. If it's not a scoring play, the booth official can continue on.
Yeah, any play that's close to being a scoring play should be reviewed, whether it's a scoring play or not.
Understood.
That would be my next rule, especially under 2 minutes.
So Rex was trying to get the attention of the official and threw the flag, but now the penalty is going to work against Buffalo. This thing should be in the books, and it's just prolonging the eventual outcome. Jonathan Williams gets his first touchdown.
Correction on the previous announcement. Buffalo has timeouts remaining. By rule, they will be charged a timeout. rather than the 15-yard penalty. Play came out after the snap. You still have a score.
So that's how they clean it up. Buffalo does get charged the timeout. And Bill Belichick took the headset off, was probably looking for an explanation, and they just want to get out of here at this point. Well, that's a pretty good ticket. Brady and Gronk. Belichick is getting the word. And Halloween is starting early.
And Patriot fans hanging around, celebrating. Bill fans are already out to their RVs in the parking lot.
2-point attempt for Buffalo. Manuel upstairs, wide open, Nick O'Leary. So window dressing here for the Buffalo Bills, 41-25 with 30 seconds to play.
Really well designed there. A little bit of a pick there by Justin Hunter. Allows O'Leary to get free in the corner. Not a good sign for Jordan Richards, though.
He's grabbing that left leg. That's what he was pointing at. New England 30 seconds away from another win. Grudge match after Buffalo won the first meeting 4 weeks ago. The Patriots responded in a happy homecoming for one Rob Gronkowski. Born in Amherst, New York, grew up in Williamsville. Patriots get payback here in Orchard Park. And the Jordan Richards injury has stopped play. Second-year safety from Stanford, second-round draft pick. So the Buffalo Bills will fall to 1-3 in the AFC East. The lone victory coming against New England, losses to New England, Miami, and the Jets. All of the Bills' losses had been by 6 points or less until today. 16-point differential. So Seattle is next on the schedule. Bills will head to the Pacific Northwest, then the bye week at Cincinnati following the bye. The schedule does get easier compared to what they had in the first part of the schedule. You look at their schedule, the last 7 games of the season, their opponent's current winning percentage is 39.6%. But look, those are all numbers. You got to go out and win games. Buffalo had won 4 in a row after getting embarrassed and making changes following a Thursday night loss to the Jets. Changed the offensive coordinator. That helped. Anthony Lynn took over for Greg Roman. And Lynn got back to the identity that Rex Ryan was looking for on offense.
But it's defensively where the Bills have been embarrassed the last 2 weeks. Giving up all those rushing yards to the Dolphins last week and then all the passing yards to Tom Brady today. Too many penalties and too many injuries. Such a depleted ball club right now.
Short kick from Carpenter that sends the Patriots running back with Devin McCourty. And he's touched there. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS has doubleheader action. First, the Steelers take on the Ravens, and later, the Colts head to Lambeau Field to face the Packers. Also, Tennessee's at San Diego. Check your local listings, beginning with JB, Boomer, Tony, Coach, and Bart on the NFL Today.
Yeah, I heard it's going to be about 75 in San Diego next weekend.
You already looked at a 10-day forecast.
No, it's always 75 in San Diego.
Good point. Easiest job in America, weatherman in San Diego.
Or anchorman.
Oh, I'm Ben Fouts. Or quarterback in San Diego. New England takes a knee. The rematch wasn't much of a match at all. The Patriots defeat the Bills 41-25. Tom Brady continues his torrid pace. And New England's got the best record in the NFL. The Patriots hit the bye at 7-1 at the midway point. For Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, rest of our crew, Ian Eagle saying so long from Orchard Park, New York. Coming up, Subway postgame show. We'll take you to New York for all the latest scores and highlights. Right after this, have a great Sunday and a happy Halloween, everybody. So long from Western New York.